Hello, I'm Nigel Pease. I'm here at Barnsley College looking at music production techniques using Pro Tools software. In this little clip we're going to look at creating a headphone mix, which we need to be independent of the main mix. Okay, so if we have a look at the screen, what we've got on screen is a session with a few drum tracks, some bass and guitar. So if we just have a quick listen to that. Okay, so the first thing to do to create our headphone mix is to create an auxiliary send. I'm going to use the shortcut holding down the Option key when I click, so I'll choose outputs 3 and 4, and you'll notice that by holding down the Option key when I did that, it's created an auxiliary send on all tracks at the same time. Holding down the Command key now, whilst clicking just next to the name of this send, will reveal the little fader that we're going to use to send to our headphone amplifier. So I'm just going to quickly do some fader adjustments here to set up a rough headphone mix. Obviously, as you worked with your artist, you'd fine-tune that to their needs. We need this mix to be pre-fade, so again, using that same shortcut, holding down the Option key and clicking on the P button, I can make all tracks auxiliary sends pre-fade at the same time. The next thing to do, you don't have to do it, but it's good practice, it's certainly something I always do. You need to be able to have overall control and see what's going on. So a good thing to do is to create a master fader for this headphone send. I'm just going to clean this little fader out of the way there. So I'm going to use the shortcut Shift Command N, and that opens up the New Tracks dialog, and then another shortcut Command and the down arrow to step down to master fader, and Command and the right arrow to select stereo. Press Enter to create that, and we now have a new master fader that is the master fader for analog 3 and 4 outputs. I'm just going to quickly name that, and we'll call this H phones to show the headphones fader there. But what you might also want to do to help you navigate around your session is to label the actual send itself. And the way to do that is to go into the Setups menu and I/O. Within the I/O setup, you can label the actual outputs and inputs themselves. So I'm going to double click on analog 3 and 4 there, and we'll call this phones. Press Enter, and then OK. And you can see now that send is called phones, and the output label of the master fader is also called phones. So it's, at a glance you can see that that particular auxiliary is in use for your headphone mix, which is very useful when you might have several auxiliaries working for different effects sends and such. So there we are, creating a headphone mix that's independent of the main mix. If we just prove the independence, what I'm going to do, obviously from your perspective you can't hear the difference because you don't have the headphone amplifier, so we'll do this with metering. If I press play now, you'll see metering on both outputs, both sets of outputs. So that was showing main mix and headphone mix. To prove the independence, I'll now mute all the main mix tracks, and if I press play again, we'll hear nothing, but you'll see metering on the headphone mix, which shows that the sound would be getting to the headphone amplifier. So there we are, a simple way to create a headphone mix that's independent of the main mix.